Hello, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom and we talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you know you've come to the right place. So today we're going to talk about Ezra Miller and The Flash. And could he be done with The Flash? If so, does Grant Gustin replace him? And what does this movie look like in terms of going ahead with production? Why is there a delay? So let's jump right into it. So let's talk about Ezra Miller first. Ezra Miller has had a history of violent and outrageous behavior, to the extent that all the way back before the Flash movie started filming, he was seen choking out a fan on camera, mind you, actually on camera. And it was before the movie was getting filmed, so they knew the history of behavior, but he had already done the Justice League. They decided to play it kind of close to the cuff, let's try to, just sweep this under the proverbial rug and not address it, which was probably a smart thing to do at the time. But it didn't stop the event from being seen by millions of people, and already the controversy began. Flash forward, no pun intended, to a few days ago. I believe it was Sunday, the same Sunday of the Oscars. I could be wrong about the timeline, but he actually was in Hawaii and he was watching this girl do karaoke. Apparently he took offense to her voice or something and decided to get up on stage and take the mic and cause a big scene. Well, while he was in Hawaii, apparently he's staying with this group of people. This couple, he goes into the couple's room at one point and starts threatening their lives. I can't even begin to repeat what he says here because YouTube wouldn't like that. But he gets arrested. Then we find out that there has been 9 police reports filed against him during this time. And get this, that same couple that he's been staying with, he actually stole the wife's passport and the guy's wallet. This is someone who's an actor in Hollywood and should at least have enough money to be surviving, being that he's just done this big budget movie, right? So there's something seriously wrong here. Warner Brothers has in the past made a point to get rid of actors, that don't live up to their expectations. Johnny Depp was accused of domestic violence and therefore lost his standing with the company. Ezra Miller, they swept under the rug. Well, now they might not be able to do that. So what do they do going forward? There's an online petition, this whole online movement, if you will, to get him replaced in the Flash movie. And it's a year away. It's a year away. They've done extraordinary things in replacing actors with less time than they have here. It's not out of the realm of possibility that he gets replaced. And who do people want to replace him? There's a big majority of people that apparently want Grant Gustin from the Flash series to replace him. I'm not 100% sure this would work, simply because Grant Gustin is on the Flash series. It's a CW series. It's not the same level of production. Granted, he would be playing a different version of the Flash then Ezra Miller would be playing. He would also be playing a different version of the Flash than he has played in the CW. If this were to go through, the only way that he's not playing a different Flash than Ezra Miller is if he replaces Ezra Miller through like CGI. They CGI Grant Gustin's face onto Ezra Miller's body, which, are they about the same size? You might not really notice. I'm sure it would look a little weird. Maybe they could do something there. But that is not out of the realm of possibility. It could work in a variety of ways. Now, one way that I have heard suggested that I actually do think might be kind of cool is if at the end of the movie, Ezra Miller's Flash fades away. He basically would blink himself out of existence and we'd be put in a brand new world where we would see the Flash running up, and it would be the new actor that would replace Flash going forward, i.e., if the petition and movement is successful, then that's Grant Gustin, right? It could be any actor you could put out there. And I have nothing against Grant Gustin, but sometimes the Flash series doesn't showcase the level of acting that Grant Gustin has. I believe he could pull this off. I believe he could make an amazing Flash, but I don't see them replacing him with Grant Gustin because I don't see them going into the whole CW thing. Now, here's the other thing about this scenario. This scenario is even weirder because a lot of actual DC movies have been put on hold. The entire DC lineup has essentially been put on hold with the exception of a few movies that are coming out sooner, I guess, rather than later. There is talk that this movie would have restored the Snyderverse. That's a rumor. Another rumor about this movie is that it would replace Henry Cavill's Superman with Supergirl. And that this would be what they do going forward. There's been a whole bunch of crazy rumors that have come out, and some people have seen screenings and been coming out saying that some of this stuff is true. You have to take screenings with a grain of salt because, especially in a world where they've jumped this movie back a whole nother year, because the things that people didn't like in the screening could be reconted. They could essentially be undone. So we might not get to see no Superman. We might not get to see Supergirl taking over that part. We might not get to see General Zod. Although the biggest rumor I've heard is that General Zod is essentially the villain in the Flash movie, which right there kind of puts me a little bit aback because I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you make General Zod the enemy in a Flash movie? But whatever they do, as long as it's good. But the idea that they've had to put this movie on hold yet again, after the fact that this movie was supposed to go into production and was supposed to go into production and was supposed to go into production and never did. And then once it got finished, now they're going to take and put it on hold for an entire year. It don't take that long in post-production to do some of the stuff they're going to do. They have an entire team running things where they can get things done rather quick. They don't need an entire year for this, so maybe there's something to that. The other thing about this is that people have been talking about the fact that Ezra Miller could have had problems on set as well. Not violent outbursts, but breaking down and kind of not being helpful to the overall story. So they're putting everything on hold and saying that their contract with Ezra Miller is going to be renegotiated. They're going to take a look at the whole Ezra Miller situation and decide what action needs to be taken. This presents us with that same scenario we started with. If Ezra Miller is out, who's in? How do you do this? You have an entire Flash-centric movie, and if they take the time over this course of the year to replace him in his own movie with another actor, then they do. I, at this point, am not sure. I would be utterly surprised. A few reshoots here and there, a few CGI'd moments of his face. They have the time where they could do this. However, this is a done movie. This is a movie that is essentially finished. If you're going back and reshooting, going back and redoing things, you're getting into more and more money. And this movie, if it's going to cost more and more money, better make really sure that it is good. Because if this movie tanks, it could hurt them more than anything. It could actually destroy the DCU permanently. And not just the Flash movie, Elseworld movies, the shows that are going to be airing, that they're going to put out, it could destroy those. It could be a spiral that sets back the DCU several years over because they're not going to invest in something that doesn't make them money. So Ezra Miller's not very bankable in this situation. He's already costing them a big portion of sales. There's a lot of people that probably won't go and see this movie because of the stuff that Ezra Miller does. Now, if they're going to replace him, yes, the end of the movie might be that perfect time. He does something, blinks himself out of existence, and we get to see the new actor. What do you guys think about that? Leave us a comment in the comment box below because we like to hear from you and YouTube likes it when we hear from you as well. Now, don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they get the same great content you're getting. And make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button. Miko wants you to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to disappoint Miko. And then while you're down there, go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. And remember, friends, as strange as the world can be, at the end of the day, fandom is family.